And yeah, we did do a double last reading. We read over the same verses twice, but there's no harm
Mhm.
in that. But so today just now I made sure we're on the right place. Yeah, so we're picking up from text 28, definitely. Okay, text 28. So someone like to begin with 1328.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, can I read?
Yes, you can. Thank you so much.
Okay, just one
You can, yeah,
second.
change your page. You just,
Just the translation, yeah?
yeah, just
No.
no, do the Sanskrit and the translation in purple.
Yeah, okay. Text 13. Samam sarvesu bhutesu tisthantam parameshwaram Vishnavastva avinasyantam ya prasyati sa pasyati. One who sees the supersoul accompanying the individual soul in all bodies, and who understands that neither the soul nor the supersoul within the destructible body is ever destroyed, actually sees. Purport. Anyone who by good association can see three things combined together: the body, the proprietor of the body or individual soul, and the friend of the individual soul is actually in knowledge. Unless one has the association of a real knower of spiritual subjects, one cannot see these three things. Those who do not have such association are ignorant. They simply see the body and they think that when the body is destroyed, everything is finished. But actually, it is not so. After the destruction of the body, both the soul and the supersoul exist, and they go on eternally in many various moving and non-moving forms. The Sanskrit word Parameshwar is sometimes translated as the individual soul, because the soul is the master of the body, and after the destruction of the body, he transfers to another form. In that way, he is a master, but there are others who interpret the Parameshwar to be the supersoul. In either case, both the supersoul and the individual soul continue. They are not destroyed. One who can see in this way can actually see what is happening.
Well, you read that very quickly. That's good, quick read. Uh-huh. All right. So this word, pashyati, here it's pashyati, sapashyati. It means that one actually sees. This word is also used by Sukadeva Goswami, but in a negative context, for someone who is materially attached. Pashyati na pashyati. They actually see, but they don't see. In other words, we see the inevitable in this world where people grow old and die, but still one doesn't see the need, or one is not then inspired to find out the deeper meaning of life because they're so absorbed in satisfying their senses that they don't bother to inquire. So that's why Sukadeva Goswami he uses these two words in a different vein. Pasyati na pasyati means they see, but they don't see. But here it's described in a positive way. Someone who's educated spiritually, they actually can see what is taking place. Yeah, or they can one who actually sees, they can actually see. Now, it's not exactly like some of you might have been present. I'm sure a lot of you are quite few seniors here, so you might have seen people leave their body or been in the same room. Yeah. You don't really see anything physically, at least from the most part. You don't actually see. Yeah. But 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 you do see because you see through the eyes of knowledge. So you're seeing what's taking place, but through the eyes of knowledge. You, you see, as they say. Yeah.
Like when Rishikesh left and we were told,
Yeah.
okay, any minute now, and you like really we were chanting, but you're really like staring. What's going to happen? but you don't see anything. Like you say, you see, but you don't see. You're there, you're watching, and it's like,
Yeah, so there's two people watching. There's those who have knowledge, those who have transcendental knowledge, and then those who don't. So you are seeing what others can't see. You are seeing a soul leave the body. Yeah. Now, there is a stage in dying, it's called the active stage of dying, where the body is literally going through its last few seconds or its last minutes. Yeah, it's called the active stage. There's a process called dying, then there's a process of actively dying, where the body is shutting down, and normally someone takes their last breath, and then all goes quiet. The skin goes opaque, you know, and then I mean the soul has left. Yeah, so you could see, but you could see what was going on. You could see the soul, and you could see the soul. You could understand the soul has left the body. So it's by transcendental knowledge. Now, mystical things can happen as well, where someone might have some perception of some type of they may see something subtle leave the body. Sometimes that's described. But generally, you're going to see these things happening, but you know what's happening. Just like someone who's an expert fridge engineer. Over the years, we've had a few fridge engineers come to fix our fridges in the Pajari, and they can see what we can't see. They just come and they hear and they look at the symptoms of the freezer box, and they know what's going on because they have knowledge. Yeah, so they know exactly what's going on and they know exactly what needs fixing. Sometimes just by the noise, just by the specific type of noise that the fridge is making, they can identify the problem. The same with a car mechanic. Yeah. So it's the same as someone with a transcendental knowledge. Yeah. So that's why they can easily, they can easily come to terms with what has happened, especially when it's the death of someone close to them. They can quickly come to terms with it because they understand exactly what has happened. I mean, it's not a surprise. Yeah. Often it's a surprise. Of course, it's a surprise if people don't die. That's the surprise. Yeah.
Just sometimes the doctors can see that the person is about to go, he's not going to last long.
Yeah.
Or in Srila Prabhupada's case, the Patit Pavan, so somebody was told that he's got 5 hours left. And exactly 5 hours later, that Ayurvedic doctor said he's got 5 hours left. And exactly 5 hours later, Prabhupada took the last breath.
Yeah. Some of them are, so that's being quite expert at the material observation. Yeah. It can be pinpointed. Yeah. I mean, that's why doctors phone relatives at a certain point because they know what's going to happen, you know? So they make that phone call, You better come. You better come, you know? Yeah, same as my father. The doctors gave him a prognosis of, I think, what was it? Something like 7 months to live. I was a bit doubtful. Yeah, 7 months he might live. Sometimes he might live another year, but no, they was spot on. 7 months, then he left, And he was walking around. He was going for an appointment, and they looked, by analyzing what was going on within the body, they gave him that news, and they was very accurate. Sometimes not. Sometimes people hang on for a little bit longer. That may be due to various psychophysical, mental issues, where they hang on mentally. Some things are not settled with them. That's a whole subject in of itself. But let's just get back to the verse here. This is going a bit deeper actually. One not only sees the soul in the same way that through knowledge one can understand there's a presence of the soul within a living being. A little bit deeper, one understands that there's God, there's the super soul. who's situated within everyone's heart. Yeah. That they can understand just by the life symptoms of a soul must mean that there's a super soul. So that's why this chapter is quite interesting, because it's giving quite some detail about the functions of the super soul. So therefore, we can understand when someone does something extraordinary or even ordinary, or let's say extraordinary, that's because of the presence of the Lord within the heart. Like someone who's an artist, produces a great piece of artwork, then that's coming, that ability, as we know, that's in Bhagavad Gita. I am the ability in man, in mankind. Okay. So yeah, one who sees the super soul accompanying the individual soul, that person actually sees that neither the soul nor the super soul within the destructible body is ever destroyed, actually sees. Yeah, so especially, I mean, I've heard many stories of devotees who they're versed in this knowledge, they're versed in this transcendental knowledge, and they can often be a great pillar of strength for other family members when a loved one passes away. They can kind of come to terms with it and be able to, be at somewhat stable in, depends on the relationship, but somewhat stable emotionally, because they can see quite clearly exactly what's going on. Yeah. So these next three verses, I think there's 32 verses in this chapter. It's going to explain more. The vision that one gets through transcendental knowledge and consequential purity of heart and transcendental knowledge, you can see things differently in this world. You have a different vision. Yeah, like pashyati, sapashyati. You actually see, whereas other people can't see. They're blinded by material attachment. Yeah. Any other comments or questions or reflections, as Vaisheshika says? Any?
I just realized something.
Yeah.
Uh, the proprietor of the body. So that's Krishna.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I just connected it with, was it Sanatan Goswami who had sores and he wanted to give up his body? And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, that body belongs to me.
Yes. Very good example. Yeah.
I just connected the proprietor of the body.
Yeah. So I think, yeah, the body, he said to Sanat Goswami, I have lots of work to do through you. And you can see that was actually the case. Sanat Goswami had so much to do in the service of the Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So yeah, so we could think that our body, in case we could say it belongs to our guru. Our body doesn't belong to me, it belongs to the service of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So therefore, that's a good reason to keep it in good shape, or as best as possible, because it doesn't belong to us. Yeah, we are the proprietor. It's interesting, isn't it? It doesn't take much to, I guess we can consider the stuff we have, the things we have, the house we have, and the gadgets we have. We can perhaps intellectually conclude that it's all Krishna's energy. But then so in that sense, nothing belongs to us. But then we go deeper, as Mother Chandravali is saying, that even the body which is so dear to us, doesn't belong to us ultimately. Yeah, doesn't belong to us. As much as next door neighbor's car doesn't belong to us. Then the same way, our body doesn't belong to us. And the proof will be is that we have no control over it. Someone else has control over it. Yeah, and that's Krishna via his material energy. He has complete control. Yeah.
Is the body just used to carry out our previous karmas? Is it just used as an instrument to fulfill what we desired in our previous lives? I mean,
Yeah, it
yeah.
is. Yeah, very much. That's, with there's certain within the subtle body, there's different desires. So therefore, according to our, what's that? According to the arrangement, according to material nature and the arrangement of the Lord, we get a specific type of body. And
Wow.
and that body in itself carries with it a certain level of material enjoyment or not, and it cannot be changed. It comes part of the package. Yeah.
Like it or not.
Yeah, just like you see a young baby boy or young baby girl. Now, I get, when you jumpers and coats, they've all got, they've got a little tag which says some information of how to wash it,
Yes.
find it. So similarly, all like young babies, boys or girls. I mean, you can't see the tag, but there is a tag, and it's got when it's going to end. It's got the type of house they're going to get, how much money they're going to have, how much
Yes.
suffering they're going to go through. It's all, you can't find the tag, but it's there,
Yeah.
written
All
down.
predestined, kind of. It's all written before.
Yeah, but predestiny doesn't mean it shouldn't mean procrastination or the mode of ignorance, where everything's predestined. So, all right, I don't do nothing. I just sit on my backside.
Yeah. Because you could change
Everything's
it.
going to
Is that
happen.
is that because you could change?
Yeah, there is some slight wiggle room where we can, by adjusting, at least coming to a mode of goodness, we can create a, ba- a more, we can create a better future situation by the principles of learning sattvic principles and living to sattvic principles. Then we can create a better future for ourselves. So there is some wiggle room to some degree. Wiggle. There's a little bit of, we have a little bit of scope to adjust our lifestyle.
That's good.
Yeah, that's good. And what we've done. Yeah, we've taken to Krishna consciousness. Yeah. Yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yes, please. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, I was
Oda Premanandi.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. I was just thinking, Prabhu, is that can we compare like this? The rain will anyway come, but we are in Krishna consciousness, so we're having an umbrella. Rain will come,
Yep.
but we will get shelter. Maybe a little bit sides we will get wet. So, but Lord is in control.
Yep, that's a good example you can use. We can use the umbrella of, use the umbrella of transcendental knowledge. Yeah, of taking shelter of Krishna. So everyone has to face the miseries of material existence, just like the Pandavas had to face it, and they were complete, and they were great devotees.
Yeah.
And also the
Mm-hmm.
Pandavas and Dhritarashtra, Prahlad had to face difficulty, Dhruva Maharaj had to face difficulty. But the difference with devotees is they take shelter of Krishna. That's the difference. Yeah. Krishna doesn't want us to be attached to the material world. So generally, by Krishna's grace, we're going to experience some impetus to actually take shelter of him.
Prabhu, can I just ask a question, Prabhu?
Yeah, please.
Yeah. Mahaprabhu's mercy is by the Mahaprabhu's mercy, Krishna consciousness spreading. But sometimes I think why it is not easy for everybody to take up. I know Lord says it is not easy. It's only fortunate souls. I understand that, Prabhu. But so that means they have not done. There are sukhutis needed also. Either they should get it from themselves or it should be given to them. Is it right, Prabhu?
Well, yeah, yes, we were speaking about this the other day.
Yeah.
Yeah, because people are very, 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 and everyone mute if you're not speaking, if you mute. Hare Krishna, let's just wait to the.
And you'll have to mute. Go
Okay,
begin.
let me go muting 1 second. Bring up the I'm muting. Let me see. There's a riot going on. Okay, we did it. We muted them. Now, what was I saying? I lost my train of thought now. What was I saying? I went a muting and I forgot my train of thought. Yes, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Yes, Nitai Mata's bringing up a good point. We see not everyone, there's not an abundance of hundreds of thousands of people who are queuing up to take up Krishna consciousness. I mean, in some places there are more than others, in India and other places. Why not? Because people are very, very, very attached materially. Yeah, very attached.
Yeah.
So for them to take up the principles and process of Krishna consciousness, it's going to take a lot. Yeah, either we are very empowered, just like Prabhupada was very empowered by his spiritual master and thereof Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in order to change people's hearts. Yeah. I mean, and that's our mission. That's our mission. This is what we're trying to do. This is why, we presenting Krishna consciousness in such a great variety of ways to attract people, to try and bring them to the point of taking up Krishna consciousness. And I mean, that's our mission, that's our life mission, and it's not going to be easy. That's why
Yeah.
like the more Krishna conscious that we are, then the more we can affect people.
Yeah. Gallons of blood
Yeah,
needs to be
that's
shed.
yeah, Bhaktisiddhanta. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah, it's not going to be like it was in the presence of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It's not like we had it's not like we have Rath Yatra next in a couple of weeks and are dancing, then all the public are going to faint and go into ecstasy. Yeah, so we get our work cut out, but that work's going to liberate us, going to invoke the Lord's mercy. Yeah. All right. Should we edge on another verse?
Shall I do the next one?
Yeah. That's 1329.
Oh, okay. Text 29. Samam pasyan he sarvatra samavishhitam ishwaram nahi nasti atmanam manam tato yati param gatim. One who sees the Supersoul equally present everywhere, in every living being, does not degrade himself by his mind. Thus, he approaches the transcendental destination. Purport. The living entity, by accepting his material existence, has become situated differently than in his spiritual existence. But if one understands that the Supreme is situated in his Paramatma manifestation everywhere, that is, if one can see the presence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in every living thing, he does not degrade himself by a destructive mentality, and he therefore gradually advances to the spiritual world. The mind is generally addicted to sense gratifying processes, but when the mind turns to the Supersoul, one becomes advanced in spiritual understanding.
Okay, thank you. Right, so even any immediate questions or comments? Yeah. So it's taking it a step further. Yeah. How one sees or how one interacts. Yeah.
Like you were just saying, Prabhu, in the mode of like goodness, coming to Krishna consciousness.
Yeah. So one who sees, so one who sees the super soul equally present everywhere in every living being does not degrade himself by the mind. I mean, I think I mentioned this before. It's not so easy to be always conscious of this, to like carry this with you throughout the day as we're interacting in the world. It's so easy to get distracted, isn't it?
Yeah, totally.
So easy. We may do a good sadhana in the morning, we may listen to a class, we may chant rounds and do puja, but more often than not, we can get distracted from a deeper meditation. Yeah.
Agitated, your mind is wandering, and you could have situations that make you angry. Because you start off good, but then by the end of the day you're like, oh God, my whole day was ruined because of such and such.
Yeah, and that's called the modes of material nature. It's quite powerful, and it takes quite a lot to stand up against being influenced by the modes of material nature, to be influenced by negativity, or to be influenced by the lower modes. But here it's got, so one who sees the super soul, we think we can conclude that this person is definitely living definitely minimally on the mode of goodness, if not Sudasattva. Yeah. One who sees the super soul equally present everywhere. So that means that, what's the word? It means one is not what's the word? It's quite a popular word today. Discrimination. No discrimination. One doesn't make any judgments based on the appearance of a material body. Yeah, one doesn't. Actually, devotees in that sense are the only ones who really can see without discrimination. Yeah, it's a big like here in America. We was where we was where we was in Detroit. Was it Detroit we was in? Yeah, and that's where the Black Lives riots kicked off. The Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
So I mean, they've got point. They've got a point where certain type of American character, they're quite, what's the word? They're quite racist.
Yeah, rednecks.
Yeah, rednecks, that's what it's called. And we can expand that throughout the whole world, where persons are they're just seeing based on the material body, and they're therefore making certain wrong assumptions. So therefore they yeah, therefore they degrade themselves by their miserly consciousness. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's that verse? Anyone know that verse where a learned person, whether it's a brahmana,
Oh, yeah, that does not discriminate between.
That's Samadarshana affiliation. Oh my God.
yeah,
Is
sama,
it Vidya Vinay
that's
Sampani
it. Vidya Vinaya Sampane,
Garihastini
Bhakti
Panchayvan Sapatija Pandita Samdashina?
Yeah, well done. Oh, someone just claps to you. Yeah, someone actually doesn't make, one actually can see, yeah, has a equal vision. But then and then that's the, so in order to, like, we are approaching, or we hope we're approaching, the transcendental destination. Okay, I'm just highlighting it here. Now, this is the qualification for approaching the transcendental destination. That we have this vision, that we have this Krishna conscious vision, that we see the Lord equally present everywhere. Yeah, and
In every action and everything.
and that person can approach the transcendental destination. Yeah, interesting. It'd be good to ask. Well, I guess what Prabhupada means, it does not degrade himself by a destructive mentality. It's not trying to lord it over, we could say. Yeah, the mind is generally addicted to sense gratification. Yeah, I was just on a call just now, and I was just like, here in America. I think Mohini, God, because you've been in America, but in America, you wouldn't believe it. There's every type of perceivable sense gratification available. It's like, for example, you go into a supermarket, and say if you're looking for salad dressing, All right. There must be 50 different types of salad dressing.
Totally.
If you
Crazy.
want some peanut butter, there's about 60 varieties of peanut butter.
Yeah.
If you want something for your bathroom, there's a superstore the size of a supermarket that's just for your bathroom, and it's open 24 hours a day.
Yeah. Bath and Body Works.
Yeah, there's just so much. It is just everything. It's so much, and that's
Yeah.
life. It's just addicted to just satisfying their senses in different ways. There's so, I mean, not just in America, but in the so-called developed world. Sometimes it makes me sad when I walk into a supermarket and it's stuffed. Every
Yeah.
shelf is stuffed. Every conceivable food you could want.
Mm.
These people who are like, they got the big house and they're materially and they take the dog for a walk and they go in the supermarket and there's everything. And then in other parts of the world, there's persons who are, who are dying of malnutrition.
Mm.
It's like sometimes it's quite sad. I find it quite sad sometimes to be part of it. To walk into this one shop, it's got, I mean, one time, so I'm going off the track a bit here now, but having my go at America.
Walgreens.
Yeah,
Walmart.
yeah, Walmart's. I mean, God, it's like the size of 10 football pitches, and it's just,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. So true.
and
And
it's
it's all
open,
processed food.
yeah, and it's open 24 hours a day. Like one
Yeah.
time I saw I heard of it, one documentary where someone was brought from Africa, from a place where food is not so readily available. They have to be very careful in their harvesting of crops. They have to be very careful of the use of water so it lasts through the dry season. They have to be very careful with their livestock. They have to be very responsible for how they live in order to eat. In one sense, you could say a natural type of existence. And they brought them to to America, and they took them inside this supermarket. God, can imagine they're looking at all this food. It's,
Where to start?
yeah. Sorry, I'm having a go now. Like, 80%. I got some right here. 1 second. In the USA, 100 million people are obese. 100
Yeah.
million people are overweight here. Obese, not just overweight, actually obese. La 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 la, America. Anyway, I'm
But
just,
that's their highlight, isn't it, Prabhu? Their highlight of the week is going shopping. They don't know anything else. It's just shopping and eating.
yeah, yeah.
Most of them, most of them.
And they sit there in front of the computer. Anyway, I'm going on now.
Yeah.
So the mind is generally addicted to sense. You can see it's addicted to sense gratifying processes. So, but if one leads a life which is a bit more controlled, yeah, one's life is focused not on satisfying ourselves, but is trying to satisfy Krishna, and that's bhakti. We're trying to satisfy Krishna. We want Krishna to have the best, and
Mm.
we're advised in Srimad Bhagavatam. Doesn't mean we have to live in a cave, but we're advised to live a simple life, so we
Yeah.
can dedicate ourselves to the cultivation of Krishna consciousness, and that's when you start to become, for someone who's a little austere, living in that sense a little austerely. They're living according to their needs, not to their wants, and they're developing Krishna consciousness. That's when you have a vision. That's when you can start to see transcendentally. That's when you can see beyond just the material. You start to get inspired by spiritual, yeah, you start to become spiritually inspired instead of leading a, sorry,
I was thinking, Prabhu,
yes.
I don't know, this came to my thoughts just now. Even we devotees, some of course we are doing. Sri Prabhupada taught us a big how to do a big feast for the Lord, and then we can have it. But that is a preaching program. It's not for the devotees. It should be the people who are coming in. I don't know. This came to me now.
Yeah, yeah. I just
Devotees should be always simple. And I'm talking to myself. This thought came to me just now while you're talking about it.
yeah, you will find quotes from Prabhupada to like just a quote we put
Yeah.
up today for the that quote we put up on the calendar is let me just read there. Whatever is
Ah.
available in the forest or in the city among the fruit and vegetable groups should be offered to the deity, and the
Mm,
devotee should be satisfied eating that. So
mm,
whatever is available in the forest or in the city, okay, among the fruit and vegetable groups, he should not be anxious to have very palatable dishes.
mm.
Of course, wherever it is possible, one should offer the deities the best foodstuff prepared
Yeah.
with fruits and vegetables, cooked or uncooked. The important factor is that devotees should be regulated with the book. That is one of the good qualifications of a devotee. And also, Rupa Goswami also says, isn't it, in the Nectar of Instruction,
Mm.
overeating.
Just to maintain the body.
Yeah, so we should be careful. And as Nitai Mata is correctly saying, like they cook this amazing Bashadam for 108, that's to entice people and get them to come back. But for us individually, we should be a little bit, we should, yeah, how can you say, for us individually, we should, yeah, we should be aware that we shouldn't be
Mm.
just living to eat. What's that word? Eating to live. Anyway, get a point. We should try
Mm.
to live as simply as possible, offer nice things to Krishna, of course. I mean, at home we can cook quite simply and offer to Krishna. I'm just trying to think. There is other places in the Srimad Bhagavatam where Prabhupada just advises that devotees, he actually gives instructions that devotees shouldn't, in the name of Prashadam, overeat. Anyway, that's just
Yeah.
like that. Sometimes, yeah.
And even Prabhu, even go in the restaurant. I'm remembering wherever sometimes we quote even that we shouldn't go in the restaurant. I remember my Bhakti Shastri teacher said that Govinda restaurant is not for devotees. It is for the others.
I haven't heard that before. I think
He said to us,
I think two
he
of
said to
my
us,
mates about that.
honestly. And I was like, oh, we shouldn't be going, we shouldn't be thinking like this. Oh, I was like listening.
All right,
And
that's
actually,
interesting.
I really learned something this weekend. I
Yeah,
normally have Morrison's just where I live, a small little Morrison. And this weekend, my neighbor took me to Asda because I needed to get my car washed.
yeah.
I tell you, it's so huge. My head was, shall we get this? Shall we get that? Shall we get that? Luckily, it was in control, so it didn't get anything. But well, if you were going to do that every week, you will be tempted. So Krishna is so kind, given me a little Morrison just downstairs, which I can't get too much.
Little Morrison's. I've been to that Morrison's.
Yeah, but it's
That's
still
quite big
little to
Morrison's.
bit. Yeah, but it doesn't have as much like the things that this Asda had,
Yeah,
Mm,
and also from my observation as well, I mean, we got our feasts, we got our occasions when we take opera prashadam. Devotees like to cook. It's one of the exchanges of love as well. But generally, as a whole, I've seen that most senior devotees, my Guru Maharaj and others, as far as lunch, they 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 do eat quite simply.
Mm.
Do eat quite simply as a whole, and I think also age itself necessitates that we eat more simply as well. So anyway, let's be careful. Let's make sure we're not becoming when our tongue is not in control of us. We want to
mm,
Goswamis, we want to be in control.
mm,
Because if we overeat, then it becomes very difficult to execute our devotional activities. Yeah, because then we have to digest it, and it takes a lot of energy to digest the vast amount
mm,
of food that we eat. So in one sense, it can be detrimental to make an advancement in devotional service. So, okay, devotees, so be a bit careful out there. It doesn't mean don't eat, but it means generally we shouldn't, become Vishu Vacho Vegam Manasakroda Vegam, Jiva Vegam Pasta Vegam. In order for us to advance to the, as described, the transcendental destination, we want to, I can say, steer our course. Okay, going on a bit now. Hare Krishna. Any other comments about that? Any complaints about not going to Govindas? I don't know.
Lot to think.
I mean, if you're gonna, if you want to eat out and you want a bit of a change every now and again, go to Govindas.
Yeah, that's what they said. But don't make it a habit to go to Govinda's all that. That's what my teacher told me.
Yeah. All right. What we on 10 to 2? No, it's what's it here? It's 2:21. There for you, it's what's it? Anyway, Hare Krishna. All right, let's read another verse, sir. Let's look at the purple. Okay, I can have a go at this one. Okay, text 30. So we're learning quite a bit today, isn't it? We're learning about the super soul, about having transcendental knowledge, seeing things as they are, seeing with equal vision, seeing, appreciating, appreciating a soul, and not having any discrimination based on body, just appreciating everyone's part and parcel of Krishna. So here, 13:30. Parikriyeva cha kamani kriyamanani shavashaha yapashyati tatatmanam akatadam sapashyati. So this word pashyati comes up again, twice here again. Pashyati, pashyati, he sees. So let's see what it says. One who can actually see that all activities are performed by the body, which is created of material nature, and sees that the self does nothing, actually sees. Okay. So purple. The body is made by material nature under the direction of the supersoul. So whatever activities are going on in respect to one's body are not his doing. Okay? Whatever one is supposed to do, either for happiness or for distress, one is forced to do because of the bodily constitution. The self, however, is outside all these bodily activities. The body is given according to one's past desires. To fulfill desires, one is given the body, with which he acts accordingly. Practically speaking, the body is a machine designed by the Supreme Lord to fulfill desires. Because of desires, one is put into difficult circumstances to suffer or to enjoy. This transcendental vision of the living entity, when developed, makes one separate from bodily activities. One who has such vision is an actual seer. Okay? So explaining even a bit more. So just as it's quite obvious, like when we're sitting in a car, that the car is the instrument and we are being carried by the car. But this is taken again, it's with transcendental knowledge, we can understand that the soul within the body is being carried by the body, and we are actually, and that's going on by material nature. We are not really involved. If you just consider for a few seconds all the organs in the body. Consider the liver, consider the kidneys, consider your gallstones. If you not well, certainly consider gallstones, you shouldn't have them. But consider the appendix, consider the heart, consider the blood, consider the brain, consider the nerves. Then you got the subtle. Just consider all. So all of that is like a big machine. It's all going on right now. It's all functioning in a different ways. Like the liver plays a specific important role. And it's all going on, but we're not fully conscious of it. It's going on, without us. It's going on because it's controlled by material nature. And we just happen to be within one particular body, which all this is going on. Yeah? Just like getting back to eating. Think what happens when you take food in your, once you take food in your mouth and the way it's broken down and in the stomach and the enzymes and the digestion, and then it gets then it gets evacuated. We're kind of quite oblivious to it, isn't it? We're not fully conscious of what's going on. We're just at some point I won't go into details, but at some point we have to use a toilet. We know we just have to use the toilet, but we're not conscious of it, the whole process. We're just not conscious of it. Sometimes, we do, what we do feel, we do feel hunger and we have to therefore eat, and we do feel tired, yeah, and we do feel the need to use the bathroom, and we do get headaches, etc., etc. And we may get some type of, when some part of the body gets diseased, then we're kind of conscious of it. There may be some pain. But other than that, every day, 24 hours a day, there's a whole massive operation going on. Massive operation going on. The lungs, the kidneys, and the heart. Boom, 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 boom. It's all going on. Why is it going on? It's nothing to do with us. It has absolutely nothing to do with us. It's the material energy. That's what's being described here. Yeah. Whatever activities are going on in respect to one's body are not his doing. Can you imagine it if, like, every day you had to organize your liver, you had to organize your heartbeat, you had to organize your lungs, you had to organize how much air comes in. You have to imagine if you had to sit down and work all of that out, before you did anything. You had some type of computer where you had to tune in your liver, your kidneys, and your blood pressure and your veins, and you had to adjust it all. We couldn't do it. No, it'd be beyond there. But yeah, but Krishna's doing it all. The whole thing's going on by dint of the material energy. So yeah, and it's like persons who are very materialistic, very proud, and they think they're in control. They think they'd like to think that they're in control of their lives and they're the one who's making everything happen in their life. They're very proud. But at time of death, it becomes very painfully clear that they are not in control anymore. Yeah. And they're not only not in control at that point, but they was never in control. What's that verse? Prakriti kriyamani guna ahankara ahankara idyatma. It was one who
aham iti manyate.
one who thinks himself the doer of activities, yeah, is actually conducting. What's the translation, Bhagavad Gita? One who thinks
Prakriti kriyamanani gunai karmani
that's like false ego. If you think you're in control,
yes,
you're not. Yeah. And it's on a timer as well. There's a time. It's sort of keep speaking about death, but so here, let's go back here. So one who can see that in all activities are performed by the body, which is created by material nature, and sees that the self does nothing, actually sees.
Nothing.
And then it's quite amazing. And then this last sentence here, this transcendental vision of the living entity, when developed, makes one separate from bodily activities. So that is, again, the first point we was making, that this transcendental village, not transcendental vision, or this transcendental knowledge, it's this knowledge from Bhagavad Gita that can make us free, separate from the bodily activities. although we're in the body, I mean, it doesn't mean we become literally taken out of the body. It means that we are conscious of ourselves as soul. So so in that sense, we are separate from our bodily activities. So one who has that vision actually sees. Yeah. All right, so you can consider that what's going on within this material body, it's quite phenomenal what's going on every moment and every second. It isn't anything to do with us. It's the material nature. All right, so it's getting, perhaps for you there, it's now 7:30, yeah? That's the right time. There it's 2:30. All right, so thank you for joining in this nice discussion of Bhagavad Gita. Had some nice verses covered today. And next Monday, I'll be in touch. I probably won't be able to make it next Monday. If that changes, I can let you know, because I'll be on the train from here to New York. Let's see what time we arrive. Yeah. Okay. So Wednesday should be okay. Yeah, Wednesday should be okay, and also Thursday, Sula Bhakti Chintamani. Okay, thank you, devotees, for joining us and giving us an opportunity to read Bhagavad Gita together. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhu, for your wonderful class.
Prabhu, can I ask, where are you now, Prabhu?
Sorry, Mother?
Where are you now, Prabhu? Can I ask?
I'm in Washington, D.C., in a place called Potomac.
Sure.
Beautiful temple here.
Yeah, huge temple.
Yeah, beautiful. Of course, I'm envisioning such a temple for Radha, Londoneshwara, every.
Yes, Prabhu.
Let's see.
That's a good, yeah.
Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.